Jezza's
tools.
house.
Great little podcast. You
The
probably seen
Jezza
it a
Villa.
lot.
Welcome back here to the Jezza
I'm
Villa.
going to the occult.
I'm your host, Jezza Chronic, within the Jezzaverse. We're 8 minutes behind now, sorry about that, but we'll catch it back up.
Esoteric realm of things, but I do love true crime and the parapolitical, so it's always fun to get in.
No, Leo King's live too. But
invite me, man. Y'all go find me on Patreon, patreon.com/gratefulpodcast.
Robert Phoenix,
and,
the astrology, I don't know.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, for the other people who may not know who he is yet, I mean, even though he's been on the show a few times, he does cover occult stuff and he does it in specific topics. We found him on for one of them. I highly suggest you go check out his channel. If you're into the occult and this other stuff, that's what you listen to. So thank you very much for joining us, Jules. I appreciate it. And we got Bennett from Vegas and Steve. What's going on, man? I'm so happy you're able to join us.
How is everybody?
Fucking
appreciate you
cat
having me
in the
on.
way, man.
Again, Bennett Team
Sharpening
from
the sword,
broadcastingcd.com.
Stay
I
away.
pretty much talk about everything
Don't come
in the
here.
high strangeness realm. And I would include true crime in that too, because some of that shit gets freaky. So yeah, I appreciate you having me
My
on.
mom is a fucking bitch.
Glad to be here.
No, of course not. Thank you very much. I was just on your show recently and had a blast, so I'm happy to have you
It's a
on.
good time for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't deserve that job.
Exactly. And finally, I guess of the hour and a half, Julia from Cosmic Beach. What is going on, Julia? Thank you.
What's up, Nick? I'm so excited for this one. Thanks for having me on to present this. It's going to be a blast. And obviously, I've covered similar topics like this before on Occult Rejects as far as program serial killers and the like. But this one I found on my own. This one did not come from the Program to Kill book. But I feel like if David McGowan would have known about this guy, he would have been in the book. Because, damn. You know, there is a lot of connections with this guy to the whole Program to Kill blueprint. And you'll kind of see that as the presentation moves along. But say, look at this, Bennett. First comment of the night, ASMR channel. They want you to read them bedtime stories.
Well, I mean, I don't.
I've always been told that I should be doing a bedtime stories with Uncle Bennett.
So we have Jules over here, sounds like fucking Matthew McConaughey and Bennett, who should be reading kids' bedtime stories, ghost bedtime stories. This is going to be this is going to be a really good show. I already have a feeling already.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Not the first time I've heard that.
But yeah, so obviously I want you guys to bust in if you have any questions or anything like that. Or if you, I mean, are you guys familiar with this guy at all, Randy Kraft? Have you heard about him? Do you know what he did? Anything?
I can't say
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
Brooke, Bennett?
yeah, like legit. I mean, well, part of it is because I was in the Marines, and he killed a whole bunch of Marines. So that's how I know.
Well, when I saw the topic for the show, I did research thinking we were going to be talking about the government cheese stores, so no.
Yeah, that was what we said too.
I didn't,
Yo, ChatGPT can throw fucking cheese in the picture?
Well, you know, I always get pissed off because a lot like what's talked about in Program to Kill is how these guys get these like super bitchin' monikers like Green River Killer, Hillside Strangler, BTK, and Mind Torture Kill, and they go down as like these mega villains in history's, you know, deadliest crime and all that. They almost get like sensationalized and almost like they're a celebrity or something because they get these like the Zodiac Killer and shit like that. So Randy Kraft is actually known by many things. He's known as the Scorecard Killer and the Southern California Strangler, but I gave him my own moniker because I think obviously if you have a last name like Kraft and you are in the Army and Air Force, actually he's in the Air Force, his last name is Kraft, and he's a piece of human dog shit, and so he deserves to have a ridiculous moniker because he's a ridiculous person.
Okay.
And so I named him the Government Cheese Killer
Oh, that's awesome.
because, yeah, fuck this guy. He doesn't get to go down as like history's mega villain, in my opinion. He just doesn't. Like, some of the stuff it is so repulsive. It was hard for me to almost get through the research because it was turning my stomach like inside out, and I couldn't believe I had never heard of this guy before. You hear about all like the top dogs like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Zodiac. Those are all infamous, and everybody knows about them. But my husband was listening to this podcast the other day, and they were talking about Randy Kraft and like all this stuff he did, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then you look at his crimes, and you're like, what the actual fuck is this? You know, it's it deserves definitely its own episode. But at the end of this, I'm actually going to show you how he could have been possibly confused for like three other guys who were doing the same thing around the same time. And whether or not they knew about each other remains a mystery. But it just seems odd that three serial killers would be in the same area, um, perpetrating almost identical crimes to each other, all in the Southern California area, and not know about each other. It just seems a little bit too much for coincidence, in my opinion. But yeah, did you guys have any questions about this guy before we get started?
I just want to say, I like that you gave him a crappy name to go with it, because that kind of reminds me of BTK. He wanted to be called something cool. He wanted that notoriety, and you're right, they just don't deserve it.
They don't, right? Thank you, Brooke. It's like, you don't get to go down as like find, torture, kill. Did you see that guy? First off, his name is fucking Dennis. His name is Dennis. And
he looks like one.
Yeah, he does look like a dentist. And he wore these fucking huge ass 80s dad glasses, and he like helped out at his church's youth group or something like that. If you saw him, if you saw Dennis Brader at Walmart, you'd be like, for sure he has like a Boy Scout camp somewhere that he runs. Like, he just looks like this totally upstanding, like, nerd douchebag guy that, you know, is your typical, you know, common 80s dad. But no, he's find, torture, kill. Crazy shit, right? So,
Julia, isn't it weird that like most of these notorious or infamous killers are from Southern California or Southern California-esque, or they visited Southern California, or they have some sort of association with Southern California?
Yeah, Lisa's hitting it right on the head with that, because if you read Programs to Kill, one of the things that he talks about is how just in California alone, like all of these serial Charles Manson, the Zodiac killer, you know, Randy Kraft, Richard Ramirez. I mean, they all come out of California, and it is even documented that Ted Bundy flew to California for a considerable period of time when he was doing something before he went back to Seattle and became the Ripper that we
He's
know.
doing Mormon shit.
Maybe he was doing something.
He's a Mormon. I don't know if people know that.
He had the complete backing support of his local Mormon church the first time he got arrested, and they all made fucking signs for him, and they said, "We love Ted." And they were outside the courthouse rubbing their fucking nipples. You go, Ted is a good guy. Ted is this. Like, what are you talking about? He's literally a fucking rapist murderer. It just kills me. It kills me. Like, you guys are supposed to have great intuition and be so close to the Lord, and you guys got Joseph Smith and all this shit going on. You're supposed to be all, you know, intuitive, and you got literally a poster saying, "We love Ted." He probably raped and murdered 6 of your kids, and you got a sign outside the courthouse saying, "We love Ted." Like, that to me is how crazy all of this gets, because these people hide in plain sight, and I don't think that it's an accident. I think it's by design. They're master manipulators. They're highly functioning psychopaths, and I think that they are chosen because of this to be a part of these programs. Highly functioning psychopaths, narcissists, manipulative. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get chosen to be a part of the Programs to Kill Academy if you're just like a normal guy who has a podcast and works for progressive. You know, you're not going to get chosen.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into, like, you know, how long were these people prepped before they started to commit these crimes? Like, were they kidnapped as children? Were they bred into it? You know, and that goes into SRA and a whole nother, you know, a whole nother topic. But yeah.
Well, Jules, think of it like this. They set up all these gifted and talented programs at schools looking for something, okay? They set up a lot of programs for young kids. Then they're clearly looking for something. You know, they're organizing field trips. Like, there's a story about Jeffrey Dahmer going on a school field trip to Washington, and he makes some kind of anomalous phone call. To who? We don't know. And he's able to arrange a private tour of the White House for him and all of his student friends in his class. Like, who the fuck did he call? And how did he know somebody at the White House where he could call and arrange a private tour for him in his class? Well, the thing is like, all right, everybody knows about that. Everybody knows that Jeffrey Dahmer, oh, he's so funny, he made a phone call and he got this private tour at the White House. He's also said to be a highly functioning psychopath, a narcissist, manipulative. He was in the Army. I mean, it's like, I think that they find these kids at a young age, and I think that they're looking for these specific markers. And if you fit the, you know, whatever it is, if you check all the boxes, you get to be a part of something like this. And most of the time, I think that they are programmed to either forget their crimes or to not even remember that they've haven't been programmed at all, kind of like Manchurian candidates. It's like they go out, they do this stuff, they come back, they don't even remember doing it, or they don't remember being programmed to do it. And a lot of people say, oh, not everything is CIA, not everything is, and that's true, but there is a blueprint actually that you can look for. Not every serial killer meets that criteria, but the ones that do, it's too much in common to just be a coincidence. And this guy is one of them. Just like Ted Bundy, Dahmer, they all fit this blueprint. And this guy, again,
I just want to, sorry to interrupt you, but real quick before you go. And I know it's going off a little off topic, but like, you mentioned somebody, he got to go to the White House. I mean, even when Gacy was in prison, he had, I forgot what you call it, it's like when you just have one hole in golf and you just keep on trying to get it in. He had one of those installed in the prison. You know,
he also had like McDonald's delivered to his fucking cell, and he had like civilian clothing delivered to him, and he had like all this stuff. He has a picture of him and the first lady just chilling.
Yeah, it's the college, isn't it? Yeah. He used to run a parade in his town.
Yes. So he was a part of the JCs, which like trained young men to like. Yes, he was a part of the JC. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. If you look, because Ted Bundy was also involved in politics.
JC?
And, he was a Mormon, and he was, as Bennett was saying, he was really involved in his community. And it made people think like, oh, he couldn't possibly be doing this stuff because he's such a stand-up guy. Look at him, he's great. And it's by design that these guys just blend right in. Just like BTK, he's like helping out at his church, and he's like, whatever. So it's not an accident that these guys are master chameleons, and they just kind of like, blend into their surroundings. This guy, Randy Kraft, he was enrolled in the Reserve Officers Training Corps, and he was also involved in some kind of campaign rallies for Barry Goldwater in 1964, and he was also like really involved in supporting the Vietnam War, and that was like his first taste of like becoming political. And he actually ended up organizing campaign rallies for Robert F. Kennedy. And he got real tight with Robert F. Kennedy, and he got like some kind of letter of recognition or something from Robert F. Kennedy because he was helping him out so much with this campaign. So again, if you look for like the subtle clues in the background, they're always going to be there. Somehow political, somehow in a gifted and talented program at school, highly functioning psychopath, narcissist. It's like always hidden somewhere in there, and if you look hard enough, you'll find it. So a lot like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy, Randy Kraft also seems to be able to elude police officers multiple times, or downright just get away with shit. Get arrested and get almost no bail, a very small bail, or not arrested at all. Like that has to be another part of the blueprint, is how can you keep getting arrested? How can you keep getting in trouble for the same bullshit over and over again, and nothing ever happened to you? But in the case of Jeffrey Dahmer, he had victims that actually got returned back to him by police officers.
Well, that was a crazy. That story's like, oh.
This guy did too. Randy Kraft. Police officers brought a victim who just said, that guy raped me in the asshole, beat me over the head, drugged me, molested me. He was in the hospital. They took him back to Randy Kraft's apartment. Never filed any charges against him. He didn't even get a night in jail, and just skirted on the whole thing. That was his first victim.
What?
So again,
What?
if you look at this stuff,
What?
it's too much to be a coincidence. Like, how does Jeffrey Dahmer and this guy, who have so much in common
That's
from the past,
crazy.
end up getting
That's
victims
just-
returned to
what the
them?
fuck?
No jail time. They elude police at every stop. I mean,
Another common thing I've noticed too, and this could maybe just be, just coincidental, but you will also get a lot of people where it's like, if they were gone to jail, either for the right amount of time for the first crime they committed, or things that they should have gotten arrested for to begin with, all this other shit never would have happened.
dude,
Like Bundy, Gacy, and this guy. If they would have gotten caught, or Gacy would have stayed in jail as long as he was supposed to have. First time, he would have been killed all those other.
And Charles Manson, the same thing happened with him. He was arrested and let go a lot.
These guys, many of these serial killer guys, right? They just, what ends up happening is that they're nice, clean cut guys, right? And it's all a persona, literally a dual personality, right? And most of them are highly intelligent, and they do this stuff to just cover it up, and they end up getting into positions where they wield influence. That's part of the reason they get into politics, right? I mean, they literally, you know, uh, mold themselves into high functioning, organized killers, because that's the one thing about Kraft is he's so organized. Well, all of them, Dahmer, Bundy, so they're able to get away with it for so long. You know, they're polished, intelligent, well integrated into society, all that stuff. Respectable, they put that respectable mask on.
And sometimes they even, I feel like they go out of their way to even pick kind of attractive people. Because you do hear about, like, there's one that I really want to talk to you guys about in a future episode. His name is Rodney Alcala. He's also known as the dating game killer. And they made a movie about him on Netflix. It's called The Woman of the Hour, and it talks about his crimes and stuff. But they won't tell you in that movie, though, or any Netflix documentary, this guy is also definitely fits the blueprint for Program to Kill. But he's a good fucking looking guy. He's like a Farrah Fawcett haircutted fucking freak strangler. And if you saw the guy, you would definitely be interested in him. Like some people talk about Ted Bundy was attractive. Rodney Alcala was like a Native American guy or something like that. He had like real dark hair, tall, dark, and handsome. Ended up fucking raping and murdering 130 women. Like that's to me, it's like they go out of their way to like find attractive, extremely intelligent, manipulative psychopaths to be a part of this. The only one.
What you're saying, Julia, is that them and the pharmaceutical reps also look for attractive people too.
100. The pharmaceutical reps are horrible for that shit. They'll send like a girl with their tits half out pretty much up into a place to literally just wearing pasties and like handful of pills. And the thing that
Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A. The thing that I always say though is the one person I can think of that doesn't fit that stereotype would be John Wayne Gacy because he's just a fat, gross motherfucker, just a nasty. He just looked like he like mopped floors at KFC. Like you just see him and be like gross.
No, he did. If I remember correctly, no joke. Didn't he actually run KFC's before he started?
He did. He did. And he requested KFC for his last meal.
And wasn't he like the inspiration too for Captain Spaulding? So kind of the same vibe. I'm pretty sure when Rob Zombie was crafting his character that he played on that influence.
I have a question for you. Motherfucker.
Yeah, because he worked as a clown at kids' birthday parties. So
and Captain Spaulding sells chicken at the
exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
So when you were talking about how there's several, and you'll probably get to it, but how there were all some other active serial killers in the area. I'm not sure if you've watched the show Stand Man or not. But okay, so basically there's this convention of serial killers that all come together once a year, and they break off into mini groups, like depending on if they're like religious killers or people who poison or go for organs. They like break off. And so when you said that, and you said they could be working together, my mind went there. And I know in the past on the Rejects, you guys have talked about potentially a serial killer ring in the United States. I think that's incredibly possible that they could have been in some facet aware of what one another was doing.
148 serial killers in California, Julia. That's what it was.
That's too much. I mean, it's too much. And it's like Brooke was saying, actually, Nick, maybe you were too high at the time, but maybe not. You could remember this. We actually covered The Sandman together in an episode called Netflix and Chill or something like that.
I remember that, yeah.
Do you remember? And we talked about that serial killer convention because it was like pedophiles, serial killers, and they all just go to this one convention at a hotel and talk and exchange notes and like, trade secrets and shit like that, and they put their heads together. But it seems to me
Killicon.
Nice.
Killicon.
Killicon?
I'm just kidding.
Well,
it's a joke. Sorry.
That's a W.
I think in the show it was a cereal convention, but like the cereal you eat.
Oh,
yeah. I was sitting here thinking like they had some kind of a cover for it. But I couldn't remember.
And one of the people pulled up and they're like, "Where's the Fruit Loops? Like we don't see any cereal."
Right. That's actually a really good show. If anybody hasn't watched it, it's full of esoteric and occult symbolism, as Nick pointed out in the show we did together. But I do think they're aware of each other. I do think that some serial killers can just be random psychos that go nuts and just end up killing people. I'm not going to say all of them are programmed killers, but the ones that you find that are almost sensationalized to a degree of becoming a celebrity or something like that, or their crimes and their backgrounds are so similar to each other that you're like, what are the odds? Like, they had to have known about each other. They're like killing their victims in the same exact way. They live a couple blocks from each other. Like, how does this happen,
Don't they write letters to each other? I know that there have been a couple of people that Nick and I have covered that they were exchanging letters with each other. I think with Rex Owen, he was exchanging letters with BTK, wasn't he?
Oh, shit.
They were having conversations.
They were having conversations. They were exchanging letters
Admiring
with
each other.
but that is not uncommon for these convicted serial killers that they will exchange letters with each other,
When we covered
family,
that,
each other, or whatever.
Right.
so do you remember we covered that? I can't remember exactly what it matched, but I started taking like BTK and putting certain words through gematria, and like certain things are actually matching, like Oyster Bay or like town, like the area where the fuck shit happened. I was like, yo, is there some like weird like cult going on here in the news?
And it was BTK's daughter, and then the what was it? Not the Sunshine Killer, but the Smiley Killer. Not
Oh,
Smiley Face Killers, but
Smiley face?
I picked up on that.
It was another
Happy face killer.
Happy Face. Thank you.
Happy
Happy Face
Killer.
Killer. His daughter and then BTK's daughter came out and were in support of Rex Sherman's family as well as their daughter, and they were very vocal in protecting her and trying to provide some sort of support. Started up an entire GoFundMe. To kind of get a little bit of background on the daughter of Happy Face. She's wanted for and so
Oh, she's a fucking
Yeah, it's
dirtbag.
scam artist.
she's like wanted because she has I think money crime.
Yeah, it was a money crime. It's not illegal. We used in Palace. We had a 2-week trial. We threw her in there. That's what she's already committed crimes with money. And the only reason like we're even getting into that, and we can get back to the topic, but like when it comes to true crime, there is something, in my opinion, you start looking at these. It's always the weird ones, the ones that make no sense and seem off the wall. That everybody's got GoFundMe's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking grift. There's something going on. The people who are even involved in the crimes or possibly even playing games with money, who the fuck knows? Something's up. There's always these weird GoFundMe's going on. People raising a grand so I can go watch the Cobra trial. What the fuck you need 50 grand? That's trial for.
I had a question for Julia. Do you think that there is like an A team, B team, first string, second string, serial killers?
Yeah, because we used to think about it like this. Not only could these be government programs that are broken up into subsects for like whatever, mixing business with pleasure essentially, like gay guys. Obviously, you got like Jeffrey Dahmer, and then you got guys like Rodney Alcala and Ted Bundy. They're not gay, but they murder their victims in a really similar way. I think that they're also mixed up with magic in some way.
Yeah.
The ritualism behind the crimes, the areas in which they're perpetrating the crimes, the neighborhoods, anything.
Sorry, have you found any kind of significance to the dates of a certain crime?
It's interesting to think about because I actually think a lot of they'll say like, oh, we found this body at this time and we found this body at this time, but there were so many active serial killers in and around the time Randy Kraft was ripping and running through dudes' buttholes during this time. I don't know who killed who. There was too many. It's like there's like 80 victims and 3 serial killers, and they can't tell who the fuck did what. And it's like obviously this is significant somewhere because they're murdering in clusters around the same time. All 3 of them in the same exact way. Like how?
And they're still finding people, like DNA evidence and shit. They're still tying it to like cold cases to this guy. So
Yes,
just
yes.
nuts.
So he actually joined the United States Air Force, and he was stationed at Edwards Air Force Base, which is also the same Air Force Base where a lot of the Laurel Canyon cast of characters came out of. Edwards Air Force Base also. So he was supposed to be a supervisor of teaching people how to paint test planes. That's what he was supposed to, that was his official job title, is supervising the painting of test planes. And he became an airman first class. But they found out that he was gay, and they released him on medical grounds, quote unquote, which, on surface level, you'd say, oh, well, that might have been common back in the 60s to get released on medical grounds for being gay. But in my opinion, they don't let somebody like this just go. He's too valuable, obviously. So maybe the cover is we let him go on the medical grounds, but he just got repurposed in some, unclassified, program to kill type academy thing. Because he had a genius IQ. And after they dismissed him from the Air Force, he found employment for the aerospace program. So, a lot of the victims that they say he killed were all around his business trips, traveling around for the aerospace program. So, you know what I mean? It's like he didn't travel too far outside of the sus as fuck category as far as employment goes when he started killing all these guys. It's like, oh, you were in the Air Force, now you're working for the aerospace program, and every time you have a business trip, like 6 dudes get murdered in the area. Like, Is that a coincidence? And then they find like pictures and DNA evidence later that would link him to the crimes. Um, but
That's
his first
interesting.
victim.
I wanted to say
Oh, go
that
ahead.
actually, I know it's kind of between aerospace and NASA. I mean, there's a difference there, but I do find it interesting. Remember, I mentioned it to you, and it's something that I probably would like us to cover at some point. I mentioned it to some of us here. I covered it where I had started noticing, Lisa's even noticed it, other people have noticed it, that like, why is there always somebody in NASA popping up with all these new fucking true crime? There's always a link to somebody's in fucking NASA. What's up with that? You know, and then and again, I always say I think NASA is basically like a Nazi magic operation. So like, if I think that they're handing you shit, portraying it in a different way, people are believing it. Why would they not do that with others? They're obviously
Absolutely.
manipulators with the films. You know, they make you believe whatever the fuck they throw on the screen.
And it's like I said before, it has to be integrated with a magical aspect. It can't just be like, oh, the government program, case closed, that's it. There's always like this weird magical aspect to it too, where it's like you said, they fake all this moon landing stuff, they fake all this space stuff, they lie to us constantly, right? And then there's just this aspect of like serial killers and weirdos working for them and shit like that. Like, okay, nothing to see here, I guess.
Yeah, it's just something I noticed that I just found weird. Oh, sorry, I interrupted for that.
Oh, I thought Lisa was about to say
Yeah, I was
something.
going to interrupt. You know what's interesting, really? You were talking about, I was going to ask you what year did all this kind of start to, transpire or whatever. What's interesting, I think you said from around the 60s, and you covered at length the 60s on this podcast. What's interesting is that you do have a lot of presence of certain ops or certain operations from the government occurring in bathhouses during the 60s, especially in California, especially in these big cities, especially in these cities where a lot of tech is happening. Tech back then was aeronautics, or space programs or government programs and stuff like that. So it's interesting that they would have this guy who was sexually active in the community, that he would, be potentially. Has anyone looked at the victimology of like if his victims were involved in some sort of programs?
They were mostly Marines.
That's right. You said that. Sorry, I apologize.
I think actually Bennett had mentioned that he killed a fuck ton of Marines and other military men actually. So it's kind of like I was saying before. They find people. It's like they mix business with pleasure. This guy's gay. He loves murdering assholes, and they got a lot of Marines they got to get rid of.
Well, I think what it was is he like really tried to find. Well, they were always drunk or on drugs usually.
Or he drugged them.
And that's what I
without
mean.
them know. Yeah.
Even the way they caught him.
Dude,
I'm
don't
not
even
gonna
get
spoil
me
it.
started on that. I got a whole fucking thing on how they caught him because damn.
Sorry.
But it was a Marine.
Lisa, that was great. That was great. Question because I did connect that they were mostly like military or Marines or something like that. And
I
then
think he had a rage issue against like macho guys or macho guys kind of, and that was like his MO was like, this is who I fucking hate because they ruin my life or whatever, and I'm gonna take control and show the power over these bastards.
I mean, it definitely could have been, and I will entertain that only if you'll entertain the possibility that these guys were like people that they wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking that. I was
Okay.
bring that up. Maybe these are
That is a good point though too, and I haven't thought of that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like we need to get rid of Private, Smith. Oh,
Because
send
he's
Randy
awesome.
Brass over there. Yeah.
Here's a list of these guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
Yeah.
some hope we can
Make sure they don't make it for Christmas.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
It does
Yeah.
make you wonder what sort of programs that they were involved in.
That's also
Trafficking
really
children,
good.
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, something. Because it's like I said, his first victim got returned back to him. No charges were ever filed. The kid was like 13. He got raped. He got drugged. He got beaten. Nobody cared. So obviously there's something else going on here. But what I find interesting, and you guys need to, throw your 2 cents in, is the type of things that he did to his victims go beyond just killing a person. And if anybody in the live stream, whatever, if you're sensitive or you might just want to click out now because I'm gonna just say all the details, okay? He wouldn't just like sodomize a guy. He would sodomize a guy, but then he would like cut their dick and their ball bag off while they were still alive. He would make sure that they were still alive for all of it. Sometimes he would take their dick and ball bag and then shove it up their ass. Sometimes he would take his car lighter out of his car and burn their nipples off and burn their eyeballs out.
So
He would shove dirt.
I was just gonna ask, what was he sodomizing them with? Like his penis?
He did, yeah. I mean, he did rape them. Sometimes it was just more about the kill. because they found like ballpoint pins inserted into their penises. They found a bunch of them decapitated. They found a bunch of victims that were just in pieces and parts. And it's like this goes beyond just like killing a guy.
Yeah.
To rip somebody's dick and ball bag off, put it in their ass, and then like burn their eyeballs out with a car cigarette lighter. This goes beyond. This goes beyond just killing someone.
Well, it sounds like some of the torture methods that they used back in like antiquity or ancient times. So maybe it is some ancient like some dark spirit that is not only taking them over but being like invoked to take them. Like he's being whoever it is just being groomed to be a vessel for a particular entity.
Well, Jules, have you ever heard the saying like, "What would possess someone to do that?" I don't know. Why do we use that terminology? What would possess someone to do something like that? I don't know, a demon maybe, like, or something. They've tapped into something, obviously, that there's a dark past in your driving, like they say in Dexter. Because, you know, the average person is not thinking to do this. And
Some people might say that they have kind of trained these people to switch on their
Time for
shadow self,
simplifying.
to switch on their dweller, right? To where they can immediately just
Fish?
change consciousnesses.
Fish?
But it's them, it's just their deep dark subconscious, right?
yeah, I think that's part of why they have to break you down in the programming is so they can
It breaks that down.
something else has to get inserted in there.
Yeah.
You know, something else has to take over.
Where was
And
the
it's
doing?
so cut. She hasn't cut it. I haven't done it. Right, you know,
So
I'm
the
just
reason
worried.
they called him the freeway
That-
strangler is
Don't wanna
because
jump on
they
up here.
never knew where he was doing this, but he always dumped his body on the side of the freeway. So they didn't know if he was killing him in his car, if he was taking him back to his apartment and killing him and then dumping him. But all the victims were
Watch
found
some toast
either
on, son.
in Portland when he was on a business trip, Seattle when he was on a
Metal, look at
business
it.
trip, or Southern California.
Particulate.
All by the freeway, and all that they started to put things together because he finally found his signature, which was after he, you know, raped them, murdered them, dismembered them, whatever. He would take one of the victim's socks, ball it up, and put it in a beehole, and that was his signature. Every time they
Watch
found a
Dexter,
body
though.
with a
I
ball
like
of socks in a
Dexter.
beehole,
Cool.
they
And they cut it off.
started,
Cut it
you
off.
know, realizing that these victims could be connected. And the only thing that they could think of a reason why he would be doing this, is they said, well, the killer must have military background because in the military, they train you to shove socks up dead body beeholes to prevent them from purging until you can
No, I'm normally.
get to the body or whatever. So what they surmise is that he was taking them, killing them somewhere else, putting the socks in the beeholes to prevent purging until he could dump the body.
The reason that comes to mind is that it's almost like, was he doing this for someone else? In that was he was
No,
He's
it's doing it now, definitely. It's a minute.
experiments with the
We're getting data, right?
Body.
Right.
Well, the reason that comes to mind is that it's almost like, was he doing this for someone else? In that, were these experiments to see the level of pain and torture, and were these methods of potential interrogation to be used later in other operations? In that, yes, it looks like a serial killing. Yes, it looks like somebody is disturbed. Or was Randy contracted by the government to inflict these types of torture to measure the level of whatever
Depravity. Yeah.
Correct. And then now it's data point. And you can back to whoever contracted you as a way of saying, yeah, they break at this point, or if you do this,
Might have a
you
dub.
do this, or what have you. And then like you said, the signature, Randy be like, well, that was my calling card, I did that one. The other guy did the other one, I did this one.
Right.
Actually, I mean, it kind of goes hand in what she's saying. Kind of goes hand in hand with why they call them the scorecard.
Ganja Man.
Mhm.
He got live
Because
at 9.
checking
over there.
boxes in a cryptic.
Very cryptic, yeah.
Oh,
And
chucking
that's
the
how he was
light,
able to
whatever.
delineate who was who too.
Hi, good day.
Right,
It's there.
because they found in his
What
car
the
when
hell?
they busted him
I'm
the
confused.
scorecard with all the victims' names and like a little description.
Manage
And
video.
it's kind of like what you were saying when he says, is he taking them somewhere else and doing this for
What?
God only knows what reason? And then he has to use this b-hole sock because he's got to drive them then somewhere and
What?
dump the body. But the problem is, it's like he's
How the
supposed
fuck
to
does
be
that
in
work?
charge of supervising people painting test airplanes. At what point did shoving a sock in somebody's b-hole come up in the painting of the test planes
What
frame?
the fuck? The
Like,
chat's
I
still
don't,
there?
no, I'm not a rocket scientist here, but I would say if you're in charge of painting test
Man, I'm
planes,
confused.
a sock in somebody's dead b-hole is not going to come
No.
up. Another thing that I don't understand
Is
why
that public or not?
they said, well, the killer obviously has
I
military
don't know.
background,
I don't know
because
what's
not only is
going
there a sock in the victim's b-hole, but he would take tissue paper and he would shove it in the nostrils and down the throat, which is another thing I guess
This
they
is
do in the
cookery.
military because
This is full on
fluids
cookery.
come out and whatever after somebody dies. And it's like, again, when did the tissue paper nostril technique come up in the painting of the test planes?
Okay, so it's
Can
there. But
somebody
is that
explain
public
that
or
to
what?
me? Like, obviously he has further training that we don't fucking
It's
know
so
about.
weird that I can see the
obviously.
chat.
I mean, I spent 10 years in the military. And
Man,
I
when I
never
first
was trained
clicked
to
on
that
it.
shit. But
Oh,
this
you didn't
is
get trained on
no,
b-hole
now it's
sock?
b-hole
No,
insertion.
no.
Whoa.
I'm just
Check
saying.
this shit. What the fuck is going on here? That's the... I haven't even got the camera on. That's the one I did before. It's there. I can't fucking play it. Look, what the fuck? The one? Good day. Hi, good day. Just that, in brackets. Hi, good day. That's the one there that cooked itself at the end. It had Ganja Man string just going at the end. And then it cut me. And I can't tell if that's public or private, because like you click on more, normally it has like a little padlock or some shit there, right? Padlock there or whatever. And it's, yeah, 2 hours and, well, I can't even tell now. Alright, 2 hours and 17? When it should have been 2 hours and 35. Now that's going flat. Yeah, that's went flat. Cookery.
So at the end of the day,
Ah, that
yeah,
reminds me.
yeah.
I've got to buy a cookery, or that one that defeated the Romans. Yeah, the scythe, or the, they call it,
At the end of the day,
whatever it's called.
it could have been some Vietnam
Gaul had it, the
stuff,
German,
that's when this was
it
happening.
went straight
So
through.
it's
Crack,
like maybe that was
through the fucking head,
but I-
helmet,
Bennett, I
shield,
know
fucking
you're
everything,
trying to
bang.
justify that
And it was a
bullshit.
farm
No,
weapon.
I'm not trying to justify. I'm just saying,
Scythe.
holy shit.
That's what
I mean,
screwed
I put a shock in
Rome
my
up.
butthole when it's too hot outside.
Fucked them royally.
It
Works
collects
better
the
than ammonia.
moisture. Yeah.
They had to change their whole shit. They had to, yeah.
Any of the military
And
planes
Nobody-
I think it fucked them in the end, because they had long ones on
Yeah, I
sticks,
mean, even back then, yeah,
and then they
you
were
should
really
have,
fucked.
They were
That's
extremely
for something
classified.
that, especially now.
Fucking Romans. Nah, respect to the Romans. They did alright for a while.
Maybe.
Gladius.
Especially like.
Hey,
in
there's
that
like a
area.
gladius that Cult of Athena have. It's like for sale, Cult of Athena. And it's the same gladius that's like in the first fucking Gladiator movie. Oh, are you kidding me? Now there's like fucking, well, at least 3. There's 2 probably I want, and then now that. Now it's,
Yeah,
we're falling
the
behind.
SR-71 Blackbird and the.
Shout out to the person that was there and left. Not really,
The-
because you probably just.
The other one, the other spy plane, the big, it's like something 50.
Oh, this phone's like a
Yeah,
black screen.
whatever.
now.
Either way, they had radar reflecting.
Okay, it didn't turn off. It
Yes,
just gave me a
most of
weird
that
black
stuff
screen.
is patented and highly classified.
Yeah.
And not anybody can handle that type of paint because they would have to pass a clearance in order to handle that type of paint.
Good point. Great
Because
point.
it's,
Yeah, 2 hours and
extreme
35.
class. Like, we were the only country that had patents
check
for a
this
while
out.
on some.
Check this out. There you go. There it is. There's Gunja's one. 235.56. So, hacked by the community. Definitely. Probably Julian. Probably. Oi, PTP. Or one of you fucking people, because I was actually talking about you fucking people. And then last time I've done that in the past, but ones I've privated, same exact thing. Same exact thing. Fucking bullshit. I think Gunja goes live
to evade
right when
radar
I get
detection, isn't it?
actually cut off.
Like, they don't even know. Like the F-22, they have no idea what it's coded with. Zero.
It's 2017 when it's supposed to be, and then it goes to live chat. Like, what the hell? So it's still live. It's still just there as a live. Like, I could probably put a chat. No, it's gone. It says it's finished. Like, what? How does that even work? Okay, like, look, like that means it's finished. So that's Gunja Man's is live right next to it. There's mine. It hasn't got a live thing, right? Logo on it. Click on it, and then you get the live chat. Well, it did it before. More. No, now we've got a description. The live chat's gone. And there's a padlock now. Okay, we've got the padlock. So it must be in managed videos now, right? It must be in there. Managed videos. Nope, it's not there. Do I have to manage it off this one? That's about as weird as it gets. Oh, it's made it 35 seconds, has it? Probably.
I don't remember muting it. I just remember starting it.
No, that's my explanation video. That's only 35 seconds long. Yeah, someone's fucking with me. Like, one of you motherfuckers is fucking with me. Your whole, like, PTP, Monty's 420 AU, fucking whatever crew, with Cloudy and all that. No, that's last night. What the fuck? So that's obviously mentioning... I can't remember. Yeah, it didn't record. That's me just checking that one. But none of these ones are here. There's my explanation one, 6 minutes and 44 probably of. Yeah, now. What the fuck you think? That's that, but then there's not the one before that. But it is there. It's there, but it's not there. You go back to home, or wherever it was, back again. There. No, it's vanished. No, there it is. History. It's in my history as 2 hours and 35 minutes and 56 seconds with 19 views. There you go. So it's one of those ones where I've been ranting and you've all jumped in and gone, oh fuck, here we go, we're all in a bunch of fucking shit again and we're gonna fuck his stream. What's happening? I know he is. I fucking know. I'm not dumb. It's padlocked. But yeah. So I can't edit it from there, and I can't edit it. Oh, can I? Maybe can I? No. So I don't know. Maybe I can press that and edit. Yeah, I can. I can edit there. Alright, private. So that's going public now. You're all fucked. You're all fucked now. Boom. Go and watch that. It's only probably going to come up as 2 hours and 17, because it was probably cut off at the end. But it does say 2:35 there. 2:35 and 56, and it's been cut to 2 hours and 17. 39. 2 hours and 17, 39. Well done, you champs. I'll like it. There we go. Let's get back to this.
Nobody. And we won't sell it to anybody either, so.
Imagine 5 of them.
Because every single page
Sit on it and rotate, you fucking hacker piece of shit.
The
Julian,
shit we don't know about,
PTP,
who
Monty,
knows?
Googly,
And
fucking Mark,
and
whoever the
people
fuck
have to
you all are.
understand the F-22s.
Julian might need another hand.
It's almost a 30-year-old plane.
Fucking,
In the grand scheme of things.
who else wants to fucking
Far and beyond anyone else.
jump
has.
on that?
So,
Two
So
spice
when you
guys.
got famous then?
probably, I mean, if you
A
think-
Deca Quint,
Yes,
a
it's been
Just
a-
tell me when your fucking diesel suck comes in.
a
That's
deck,
all.
a Deca fucker.
And I'm telling you,
Full
I'm
deck.
telling you, the guys
Full
are-
deck
you never
fuckers.
heard that shit
At
in your
least
life.
10 of you are fucking with me.
I'm gonna have to
Probably
get
9
these
people there were decent.
butthole socks
Or maybe
Yeah, I
not.
don't know that
Me
many times,
too,
but
I'm actually writing it down right now.
no.
I've never heard of that.
Actually, I'm gonna
Well,
end.
I find it interesting too
I'm gonna end this
that
one
all
there.
this is happening in the six.
I'm gonna end this one here, pretty much here. I'm gonna pause that because this is more important. This is actually more important. You all need to hear this and see this and experience it, and come back and watch them when you're ready. And if they're short enough, you click on them and watch them. So yeah. Fuck sakes, we're on fire. This is freaking words on my lap. We've done fine. We've got super fine to go on this beast. Super fine, the last one out of 4. I got the nicks out of it. There was big nicks. And I hit the tire where the metal was. And I fixed that. It's probably going to be super sharp all the way through. And I fixed the edge. The proper edge. Like I started changing the bevel. You should have followed that properly. The rest of it. You can't just go chink, chink, chink like you'd normally sharpen another knife. Can't do that. Can't do that. You gotta follow the edge. Some knives you can do that, like with a rod, and sort of be close, but that's more honing anyway. But these are honed, but they're flat. You gotta go, yeah, you gotta have patience. Imagine sharpening that just with a rock or whatever. Or a big stone, like a big, well, you probably want the sword flat and go along like that. That's probably the best way to do it, probably. Or you're just a genius and you can do it by hand on a grind and you just keep it flat all the way to that point and then you gotta like move it like that kind of thing to do the tip. So, because the angle changes on the tip, like as it runs around. It's trippy as. And I've learned it now. I fucked it up on 3 swords. 3 swords. I'm gonna go sharpen my gladius with my cold steel gladiator. It's not really a gladius. The gladius, the cold of the thing I have, that's a fucking full size. It's like wider. 47, cool, alright, we'll come back. Peace out. Stay magical. Stay toasted. Jezza out. See you soon. Boop.